The Permanence of the Republic by Richard Salter Storrs, from the Centennial, Oration delivered at the Academy of Music, New York, July 4th, 1876, out of the Book of Patriotism, Young Folks Library, Volume 18. Richard Salter Storrs was born in Braintree, Massachusetts, August 22nd, 1821. Educated at Amherst College, and after studying law with Rufus Choate, took up the study of theology at Andover Theological Seminary. He was pastor for more than 50 years of the Church of the Pilgrims in Brooklyn, New York. He died June 5th, 1900. He wrote The Constitution of the Human Soul, 1856, Conditions of Success in Preaching Without Notes, 1875, Early American Spirit and the Genesis of It, 1875, John Wycliffe and the First English Bible, 1880, Recognition of the Supernatural in Letters and Life, 1881, Manliness and the Scholar, 1883, Bernard of Clairvaux, 1892, 40 Years of Pastoral Life, Foundational Truths of American Missions, 1897, etc. How permanent has been the Republic, which seemed at the outset to foreign spectators a mere sudden insurrection, a mere organized riot. Its organic law, adopted after exciting debate, but arousing no battle, and enforced by no army, has been interpreted and peacefully administered, with one great exception from the beginning. It has once been assailed with passion and skill, with splendid daring and unbounded self-sacrifice, by those who sought a sectional advantage through its destruction. No monarchy of the world could have withstood that assault. It seemed as if the last fatal apocalypse had come to drench the land with plague and flood and wrap it in a fiery gloom. The Republic, pouring like the tide into a breach with ample and brim fullness of its force, subdued the rebellion, restored the dominion of the old Constitution, amended its provisions in the contrary direction from that which had been so fiercely sought, gave its guarantees of endurance while the continent lasts, and made its ensigns more eminent than ever in the regions from which they had been expelled. The very portions of the people which then sought its overthrow are now again its applauding adherents. The great and constant reconciling force, the tranquilizing inner arch, being the freedom which it leaves in their hands. It has kept its place, this republic of ours, in spite of the rapid expansion of the nation over territory so wide that the scanty strip of the original state is only as a fringe on its immense mantle. It has kept its place while vehement debates involving the profoundest ethical principles have stirred to its depths the whole public mind. It has kept its place while the tribes of mankind have been pouring upon it, seeking the shelter and freedom which it gave. It saw an illustrious president murdered by the bullet of an assassin. It saw his place occupied as quietly by another as if nothing unforeseen or alarming had occurred. It saw prodigious armies assembled for its defense. It saw those armies at the end of the war marching in swift and long procession up the streets of the capital, and then dispersing into their former peaceful citizenship, as if they had no arms in their hands. The general before whose skill and will those armies had been shot upon the forces which opposed them, and whose word had been their military law, remained for 3 years an appointed officer of the government he had saved. Elected then to be the head of that government, and again re-elected by the ballots of his countrymen, in a few months more he will have retired to be thenceforth a citizen like the rest, eligible to office and entitled to vote, but with no thought of any prerogative descending to him or to his children from his great service and military fame. The Republic, whose triumphing armies he led, will remember his name and be grateful for his work, but neither to him nor to anyone else will it ever give sovereignty over itself. From the lakes to the Gulf, its will is the law, its dominion complete. Its centripetal and centrifugal forces are balanced, almost as in the astronomy of the heavens. Decentralizing authority, it puts his own part of it into the hand of every citizen, giving free scope to private enterprise, allowing not only but accepting and encouraging each movement of the public reason, which is its only terrestrial rule. There is no threat in all its sky of division or downfall. It cannot be successfully assailed from without, with a blow at its life, while all other nations continue sane. It has been sometimes compared to a pyramid, broad-based and secure, not liable to overthrow, as is obelisk or column by storm or age. The comparison is just, but it is not sufficient. It should rather be compared to one of the permanent features of nature, and not like any artificial construction. To the river which flows like our own Hudson along the courses that nature opens, forever in motion, but forever the same. To the lake which lies on common days level and bright in placid stillness, while it gathers its fullness from many lands, and lifts its waves in stormy strength when winds assail it. To the mountain, which is not artistically shaped, and which only rarely, in some supreme sunburst, flushes with color, but whose roots the very earthquake cannot shake, and on whose brow the storm falls hurtless, while under its shelter the cottage nestles, and up its sides the gardens climb. So stands the Republic, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. What has been the fact? Lay out of sight that late evil war which could not be averted when once it had been threatened, except by the sacrifice of the government itself and a wholly unparalleled public suicide. How much of war with foreign powers has the century seen? There has been a frequent crackle of musketry along the frontiers, as Indian tribes which refused to be civilized have slowly and fiercely retreated toward the west. There was one war declared against Tripoli in 1801, when the Republic took by the throat the African pirates to whom Europe paid tribute, and when the gallantry of Preble and Decatur gave early distinction to our navy. There was a war declared against England in 1812, when our seamen had been taken from under our flag, from the decks indeed of our national ships, and our commerce had been practically swept from the seas. There was a war affirmed already to exist in Mexico in 1846, entered into by surprise, never formally declared, against which the mortal sentiment of a nation rose widely in revolt, but which in its result added largely to our territory, opened to us Californian treasures, and wrote the names of Buena Vista and Monterey on our short annals. That has been our military history, and if a people as powerful and as proud has anywhere been more peaceable, also in the last 100 years, the strictest research fails to find it. Smarting with the injury done us by England during the crisis of our national peril, in spite of the remonstrances presented through that distinguished citizen who should have been your orator today, while hostile taunts had incensed our people, while burning ships had exasperated commerce, and while what looked artful evasions had made statesmen indignant. With 500,000 men who hardly yet laid down their arms, with a navy never before so vast or so fitted for service, when a war with England would have had the force of passion behind it, and would, at any rate, have shown to the world that the nation respects its starry flag and means to have it secure on the seas. We referred all differences to arbitration, appointed commissioners, tried the cause at Geneva with advocates, not with armies, and got a prompt and ample verdict. If Canada now lay next to Yorkville, it would not be safer from armed incursion than it is when divided by only a custom house from all the strength of this republic. The fact is apparent, and the reason not less so. A monarchy, just as it is despotic, finds incitement to war, for preoccupation of the popular mind, to gratify nobles, officers, the army, for historic renown. An intelligent republic hates war and shuns it. It counts standing armies a curse only second to an annual pestilence. It wants no glory, but from growth. It delights itself in arts of peace, seeks social enjoyment and increase of possessions, and feels instinctively that, like Israel of old, its strength is to sit still. It cannot bear to miss the husbandman from the fields, the citizen from the town, the house father from the home, the worshiper from the church. To change or shape other people's institutions is no part of its business. To force them to accept its forms of government would simply contradict and nullify its charter. Except then, when it is startled into passion by the cry of a suffering under oppression which stirs its pulses into tumult, or when it is assailed in its own rights, citizens, property, it will not go to war, nor even then if diplomacy can find a remedy for the wrong. Millions for defense, said Coatsworth Pickney to the French Directory, when Talleyrand in their name had threatened him with war, but not a cent for tribute. He might have added, and not $1 for aggressive strife. It will never be safe to insult such a nation or to oppress its citizens, for the reddest blood is in its veins, and some Captain Ingram may always appear to lay his little sloop of war alongside the offending frigate with shotted guns and a peremptory summons. There is a way to make powder inexplosive, but treat it chemically how you will, the dynamite will not stand many blows of the hammer. The detonating tendency is too permanent in it. But if left to itself, such a people will be peaceful as ours has been. It will foster peace among the nations. It will tend to dissolve great permanent armaments as the light conquers ice and summer sunshine breaks the glacier which 100 trip hammers could only scar. The longer it continues, the more widely and effectively its influence spreads. The more will its benign example hasten the day, so long foretold, so surely coming, when the war drum throbs no longer, and the battle flags are furled in the Parliament of Man, the Federation of the world. It will not be forgotten in the land or in the earth until the stars have fallen from their poise, or until our vivid morning star of Republican liberty, not losing its luster, has seen its special brightness fade in the ampler effulgence of a freedom universal. But while we rejoice in that which is past, and gladly recognize the vast organic mystery of life which was in the Declaration, the plans of Providence which slowly and silently, but with ceaseless progression, had led the way to it, the immense and enduring results of good from which it had flown. Let us not forget the duty which always equals privilege, and that of peoples as well as of persons. To whomsoever much is given shall only therefore the more be required. Let us consecrate ourselves, each one of us here, to the further duties which wait to be fulfilled, to the work which shall consummate the great work of the fathers. In a spirit worthy of the memories of the past, let us set ourselves to accomplish the task which in the sphere of national politics still await completion. We burn the sunshine of other years when we ignite the wood or coal upon our hearths. We enter a privilege which ages have secured in our daily enjoyment of political freedom. While the kindling glow irradiates our homes, let it shed its luster on our spirit and quicken it for its further work. Let us fight against the tendency of educated men to reserve themselves from politics, remembering that no other form of activity is so grand or effective as that which affects first the character and then the revelation of character in the government of a great and free people. Let us make religious dissensions here as a force in politics as absurd as witchcraft. Let party names be nothing to us in comparison with that costly and proud inheritance of liberty and of law which parties exist to conserve and enlarge, which any party will have here to maintain if it would not be buried at the next crossroads with a stake through its breast. Let us seek the unity of all sections of the Republic through the prevalence and all of mutual respect, through the assurance and all of local freedom, through the mastery and all of that supreme spirit which flashed from the lips of Patrick Henry when he said in the First Continental Congress, "I am not a Virginian, but an American." Let us take care that labor maintains its ancient place of privilege and honor, and that industry has no fetters imposed of legal restraint or of social discredit to hinder its work or to lessen its wage. Let us turn and overturn in public discussion and political change till we secure a civil service honorable, intelligent, and worthy of the land, in which capable integrity, not partisan zeal, shall be the condition of each public trust. And let us resolve that whatever it may cost of labor and of patience, of sharper economy and of general sacrifice, it shall come to pass that whenever American labor toils, wherever American enterprise plans, wherever American commerce reaches, thither again shall go as of old the country's coin, the American eagle, with the encircling stars and golden plumes. In a word, fellow citizens, let each of us live in the blessing and duty of our great citizenship as those who are conscious of unreckoned indebtedness to a heroic and prescient past, the grand and solemn lineage of whose freedom runs back beyond Bunker Hill or the Mayflower, runs back beyond monuments and memories of men, and has the majesty of far centuries upon it. Let us live as those for whom God hid a continent from the world till he could open all its scope to the freedom and faith of gathered peoples from many lands to be a nation to his honor and praise. Let us live as those to whom he commits the magnificent trust of blessing peoples many and far by the truths which he has made our life and by the history which he helps us to accomplish. Let us not be unmindful of this ultimate and inspiring lesson of the hour. By all the memories of the past, by all the impulses of the present, by the noblest instincts of our own souls, by the touch of His sovereign Spirit upon us, God made us faithful to the work and to Him, that so not only this city may abide in long and bright tranquility of peace, when our eyes have shut forever on street and spire and populous square, that so the land in all its future may reflect an influence from this anniversary, and that when another century has passed, the sun which then ascends the heavens may look on a world advanced and illumined beyond our thought, and here may behold the same great nation, born of struggle, baptized into liberty, and in its second terrific trial purchased by blood, then expanded and multiplied till all the land blooms at its touch, and still one in its life, because still pacific, Christian, free.